Let's see, it's going to take a minute. So Derek and I are here. We're going to be talking about the power of understanding your past lives. Hello, how are you doing this morning?
Hello, nice to see you. I'm just going to turn up the volume.
Yay. Hello, everyone. If you're joining, we're going to be talking for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so, talking about past lives and the power of past lives. So if you have any, if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat. Derek, I'd love for you to just say hello and introduce yourself and maybe talk a little bit about the work that you do so people can get, a little bit of info.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm very excited that you set this up. Everybody, Abigail set this up and asked me to do this. And I was like, oh my God, I realized I hadn't done a live or talked about stuff on, like, the last few months of this year are really allowing us to wrap up things and like assess some certain things so we can enter the new year in the right foot, right? So I realized when you asked me that, I was like, oh my God, I haven't done anything like that. I haven't even been on Clubhouse. So I thought it was such a good opportunity to gather here and talk about healing through past lives, or how cool things are that we can do with them, and how we're tuned into them and anything that comes forward. So I can see people that I've done regressions on are actually joining us already and popping through. So that's really fun to see that people that I've worked with are here, and I'm here to ask or answer any questions, and I love to just see where things go. But I do take people into their past lives through regression, so I take them into a deep state of trance or a deep meditation, basically, where they pull the Akashic information or their soul's record into this particular lifetime. And usually everything that someone's going to see is going to be based on their consciousness at the time or where their vibration is at. So if you have certain things that are going on in your life and you go into an Akashic meditation or a regression, you're vibrating with specific other lifetimes that have information for you for this one. And a lot of the times what's taking place now is that people are accessing those past lives because they're supposed to ground that energy from their other lifetimes into this one. So it's really exciting to see what's taking place with people connecting with past lives on their own, in meditation, or even watching a movie and then all of a sudden getting that pulse, and then they get super emotional or feel like they've connected to that time. It's happening in so many ways, so it's really exciting to see people connecting with their past lives.
Yeah, one of the questions I wanted to ask you, so just for like my personal experience is I've had, is it QHHT?
Yeah.
So I had that experience like as I was on the precipice of going through my divorce, and I was like, I just want to make sure, right, there's not, just want to get clear. And it was so clear through doing that. We had a very karmic situation, and actually, it's just like what made everything so clear. It didn't mean that it wasn't still difficult to do that, but it brings in this information in such a visceral, it's such a cellular memory. It's beyond logic, right? It's beyond logic, and it's beyond that. And so it's so powerful because so many people are knowing that there's something deeper than what is at the surface, and yet have a harder time accessing it. So I think there's so much power in the work that you do, because it's very different than the work that I do where I can see past lives. There's something very different about being able to be in your power and speak to what you're feeling and have the words for what you're feeling. It's so powerful. So I'm so grateful that you're here and talking about it, and that you do this work. And one of the questions that I had for you was, when you were a kid, did you have any glimpses of past lives, or like what was your first experience with that, or one of the most memorable?
I did have past life connections when I was younger. The most prominent one was the Egyptian timeline. And to the point where I would recreate my room to be like a temple as a kid. And I was just like, I didn't tell anybody because I was a little like, that's a little weird. But like, I was already made fun of since I was in elementary school. So why would I tell anybody that I'm turning my room into an Egyptian temple? But I would. And I would get artifacts. And the blessing is, and some people, I know Alessandra, I saw her join, I don't know if she's still here, but we're from the Bay Area, and we had the Egyptian Museum that was put in by the Rosicrucian order. So I had the blessing of being able to go, hi Flossie, of going to the Egyptian museum whenever I wanted to, and it had artifacts from Egypt, ancient timelines, so I could go there and have that connection.
Wow.
And I would feel into it and feel so like something, just I just thought I liked it a lot though. So as a kid, you don't have that conscious awareness of past lives. You simply just tune into like, I really like this a lot. And then as time progressed, then when past lives became a thing, it happened to be the first past life encounter that I ever had. Hi, Alessandra. It happened to be the first encounter that I had. So in the meditation, I was actually the first thing I saw were my fingertips, and they were really thin and dainty. And then I saw this white, flowy gown looking thing. And I saw myself as a really pretty girl in ancient Egypt at the temples, at the Nile River, doing a baby blessing. I saw it all. And I realized that I was doing basically what I'm doing here now, but I was doing it then as a girl, as a hot chick, naturally. And I was doing it at that time. And it's just so incredible to watch the parallels. It was giving me the indicator to show me what my purpose was. And it started not only when I first saw that meditation vision, but it started when I was really young. And it was like, look, Derek, spirit, honestly, was like, look, you're really into this stuff. This is going to make sense later. And there will be specific or moments in your, or events in your timeline that are going to awaken those memories within you through a movie, through a book, through a vision or a symbol. And throughout time, when I look back at that, I can see those moments clearly. So we are in connection with those things our entire life. It's whether or not we're going to be able to see it is what it comes down to.
Yeah. One of the things I talk about with past lives when people are like, you know, I have many people surrounding me because I'm a 12th house stellium. So in astrology, 12th house is past lives, right? So it's like, I came in as, like the whale, like I've got this file ready to go, you know? And so, you know, for my friends or my community that is kind of like, why? Like, why go back? Or like, what's the point, you know? And I do feel like for some of us, it's just part of our path, right? It's just like part of what we're here to do. But I always tell people, you know, if you have some situation where the triggering doesn't make sense to you, or, you know, you have some fear, like my daughter who had an extreme fear going to the dentist, and the dentist literally, I saw him like closing down that past life, like closing down like the trauma. He was like, I'm not going to do anything, you know? And then we were able to talk about it. And it was like this horrific, like for a 5-year-old, like it was this horrific thing she like shared with me about what she was afraid that was going to happen. But ultimately, there's many parents that wouldn't even go there, right? Like would be like, why would I ask, you know, these questions or whatever? So what do you think is the purpose for people that are like, well, what's the purpose of going back? And, you know, I say like those triggers can show you, but like, what do you think about like when it's a good time to go back versus when it's a good time to like just stay with what's here?
I think that we have to do both because yes, our current events that take place in our life are indicating something that's multidimensionally connected. People are only going to understand that based off of their frame of awareness, meaning if you can't handle the knowledge of, oh, I live many different lifetimes all at the same time in a quantum reality, we have to tame it down from that. And we have to go, oh, you have a past life. You have this one past life that you have connected to this lifetime. So it's, again, it's really coming down to frames of awareness and what people are able to access within their level of consciousness. The rest, they have to leave and just take what speaks to them. And so when we're doing past life work, we also want to make sure that we're assessing the life that we're in first and foremost, because it is the most important one that we are in. And many times people who awaken to their spirituality go hardcore and disassociate from the physical and step way into the non-physical time traveling, which is what we're able to do through our consciousness. But the indicators that are taking place in our life, let's say you have a childhood trauma in this life. Sure, it is connected to a past life, But does that mean that the answers only lie in the past life? No. They lie in the healing of this one. Because when we heal those traumas in this lifetime, the events that take place in this lifetime, what happens is a domino effect. And we affect the healing in all the other realities or timelines in which our soul exists. And for our ancestors in the past, and for everyone coming in the future. It affects all. So it is the most important to look at the events that are taking place in our current reality time frame, and then be in the awareness that they're going to affect the past lives. Now, what the past life can do is almost like going to the library and picking out a book that you can do some research on to learn knowledge about. It just so happens that it is your particular Akashic record, your particular soul's book that is tailor-made to you, that has the information that you specifically need, rather than a book that's general. So you can go look in this book and go, okay, well, what took place in my past lifetime that is indicating what's going on now? And by doing that, you step outside of your physical 3D human body, and you get to look at it from a different perspective, from a different storyline, and it becomes much more clear. Just as if you were watching a movie on TV, it's much more clear than the visceral experience of the event. And that's how we can pull that information in.
Yeah, so much was coming through as you were speaking. One of the things, I think there's this addictive quality in the kind of the new age spirituality of, and it has to do with disassociating, like not really going in and healing the trauma of this lifetime. So, and we see this in the clubhouse rooms too, right? People will come in and be like, you know, tell me about this, or like you can almost see in their energy field, they're just wanting to like grasp and get out, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's a really important thing to remember that it can be accessed in so many different ways, our healing. And this is a huge piece where if you have unexplained pain or unexplained areas of your body where you've like, nothing makes sense from this time space reality, I think it's such a golden opportunity to go in and do the emotional healing.
Yeah.
So one of the things I say is like, and this is just my truth, when we pop out and we're like in spirit realm, you know, everything, we're connected to everything, but there's certain things that are magnetized to planet Earth. So when we come in as a baby being, all of a sudden we pick up all this like heavy gridded stuff, right? And so if we're experiencing something that doesn't make sense in our time space reality, we might have just picked it up as because it didn't get a chance to heal. It didn't get a chance for that wrapping up to close up. And we really want to do the close up work. And that's the other thing I see in the new age community is people going, oh, I can help you with your past lives, or I can heal your past lives, and leaving it wide open, like leaving the trauma body wide open. So yeah, what do you think about those? Sorry, that was just a lot of things.
No, that was perfect. And that's the magic about these moments of, that's what I said. I was like, look, whatever, just think of a thing. And because I know what needs to happen for the people that'll pick up the moments they pick up, it's going to be perfect. And yeah, we have to, that's what it's about. And that's why we're literally here on Earth, because we're literally all healing something. And this goes far beyond our own ancestry line within the ancestors you know and we know. And that goes even far beyond our ancient timelines that we lived in past lives. This is a galactic in nature, cosmic experience that we're healing from other realities. It is so big that it goes beyond the mind. And we're here in a healing planet. And most people want to look at the below rather than the above of our life experience here, and look at it as a war planet, as a place that has so much horror and killing. And sure, it has that. But what people don't see is that we're here to heal it. And we're moving through experiences that allow us to make new decisions on the other side of it that will then begin to heal it. And so we're all here in a more balanced state than some other realities are that have been. And we are here healing those timelines. And as you begin your individual healing journey and closing up those trauma wounds and tying things up by learning about the lesson and the purpose that was from it, you are actually affecting, again, all those other lives in which you live. And that's in that multidimensional present moment connection. And then you're affecting all the other lives connected to you, because everyone connected to your energy field is benefiting from your healing. They don't even know that it's happening. You giving yourself more love, everybody listening to this right now, downloading the information that you and I are bringing forward and their collective energy is actually healing their families right now. And they don't even know it, because they're simply present with us now. And that's how big it is, just showing up to your own life and assessing it, healing, and bringing more love in. You actually close up those timelines for everyone else involved, because we are all one and we are all connected to the Akashic field of all that is. So what you do for you, you do for all. And it is so powerful.
Say it again, Derek. Say it again. What you do for one, you do for all. I love it. So powerful.
Sometimes I don't know what I say a lot of the times, because
I
it's
know.
just, so I'm just like,
wait a second, let that land.
I hope you
So
like save this, because this just feels really good.
Yeah. Yes, I will. Yeah. And then the opposite is true, right? If we're tuning into the frequency of trauma bonding, suffering, lower entities, lower frequencies, we're just amplifying that. So, and just like you say about the world, some people see the world as like, oh, we're destroying her and this and that. And it's like, or we could see it as a symbiotic relationship and we're all just healing, right?
Yes. And that's where we go back to those hermetic principles of looking at how the universe works. If people think of the law of attraction, that's the most accessible means of understanding a law of the universe. But there are principles underlying the law of attraction, which are the 7 hermetic principles. And
it's in my little book here. Yeah.
Yes. And so we're looking at as above, so below. And when people, and I grill that in with people, and I say it a lot because I want people to go, look at as above, so below. You get to choose. Let's be in the 0 point, that middle point field where the as above, so below lives in that paradox, because it is not one without the other. So if you are in this low point in your life, and if anybody's listening to this and you are at a low point in your life or moving through something, just know that there's the equal and opposite other side of it. We simply have to choose to move in that direction. We get to choose how we show up to our lives. We can choose the below, or we can choose the above. And there's, just on a personal, I've been moving through some really interesting changes in my life at this moment, and they challenged me. And I haven't been challenged like this in a moment to make decisions or to follow my heart and make sure that I'm doing the right thing. And so within that, I can look at the experience like, oh, why is this happening to me? Or what I actually see is I literally say it's all perfect. I'm like, it's so perfect. It's literally teaching me more about myself. It's asking me to level up in my own abilities. It's actually asking me to be more present than I've ever been in my entire life when I've thought I've achieved some presence. It's taking wherever I'm at, and the challenge that I'm experiencing is saying, yep, but we're going to push you up higher. And this particular thing that's taking place is going to assist you in that ascension of your own energy. And what they say is, spirits, they're like, this is also going to help everyone else, because what you do for you, you do for all. So I see it in the above. No matter what the situation is, we must choose how we want to show up to it. You can show up to it in the below, by all means. But I'll ask you, does it feel better to show up in the below, or does it feel better to say this too is of purpose?
I love that. And I just wanted to ask, like, if anybody wants to type in the chat, because Derek, you're sharing, like, you're going through this. I feel like we're all going through it in our own way, right?
Yeah.
And so this is why I asked you to come on here too, because I know moving towards the darkest day of the year, right? We're confronted with a lot of challenge. We're confronted with a lot of, like, I love, my kids go to Waldorf school, and in the fall, Archangel Michael comes out with this sword. It's like, you've got to be willing to battle those demons as you move into the fall, And so I know so many people on here are being confronted, being challenged with all the boogeymen, all the fears, all the sabotage, all the places of questioning. Why am I doing this? What is this for? And I just love, hello, if you're just joining us, I just love that you're sharing that, because I feel like we are all in that place. And that's why I wanted to do this, because there's so much power in understanding that most likely you've been here before. Most likely, maybe not, you'll be here again. And the lessons that we came here to do in this time, space, reality are going to challenge us. They're going to challenge us. And we can either run from that challenge and keep cycling and looping through, or we can meet it head on. And so we can rise above. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And up, 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 we're going up, and we go up together. Because you inspire me, like, you know, and it's like we inspire each other when we're showing up and we're saying, I'm scared and I'm still doing the work. I'm scared and I'm still doing it.
Oh. You know, what I want everyone to understand that might be moving through things, like, I know some people at the last minute had to cancel things. I know some people I had to cancel, like, I was supposed to go to my graduation this last weekend. And at the last moment, I had to make a decision where I couldn't show up to that. But what I did was I shifted with the energy. I moved with it rather than resist it. I said, okay, I'm still getting up really early. I'm going to iron my regalia. I'm going to put on my diamonds, and I'm going to put on my button ups, and I'm going to dress up, and I'm going to sit with my dog, and I'm going to watch my graduation on lunch. I stood up. I put my hand over my heart. I did the whole damn thing because I wanted to show up to certain things. But there are challenges that we're being met with like that, where we're being asked to go, how are you going to show up to this? This is your choice. You've mastered your energy to this level. How are you going to show up to it? And with the end of the year, what I want people that maybe don't know numerology as much, we're in a 2021 and we're closing up that timeline. The 2021 is a numerology expression of a number 5, which is change and transformation, going from one place to another, picking up and moving on, okay? And as we are met with these challenges right as the end of the year is coming up, it's like, okay, we have some lessons that we got to pack in the last few weeks and past few months. We're going to pack it in.
Past few years.
Past few years. We're going to pack it in because 2022 is a year of synchronicity. It is a year of the 6, which is about love and companionship and family. And it's about self-love and grounding that. But it's broken down by those 2s, which is all about balance and harmony and partnership. So we want to make sure that we really look at the signs and symbols that are around us, telling us the direction we're moving. Because if you understood the direction we're moving and looking at the map between, if astrology, numerology, your own energy, you're communicating with your guides, whatever it is for you, if you look at the map, you'll trust that the universe has it all laid out. But it's asking you how you want to show up to your life. So just know, everybody, that if you are experiencing these things, it is simply inviting you not only to battle the demons, but to face them, like Abigail said, and to learn from them. Because they are asking something of you and actually reflecting back to you how you, on a higher level, want to grow. So it is all out of service of you to move into this next year vibration of the 6, where you will see balance, harmony, fruition, and magic take place in your life. So keep that in your frame of awareness. Understand that anything you're being met with at this time is a moment to allow yourself to look into yourself even deeper, to be able to access the information that's asking you how you want to grow and involve more love into your life. Because when 2022 hits, you are going to experience a flow of abundance in your life that is preparing you for really powerful things yet to come. It is simply up to you to be able to access that level of information.
So powerful. So people are asking, like, they didn't hear you, but listen, there's going to be recording. This is, I don't know, Derek, if you experience this, I'm like, okay, go back and listen to the recording, because it's a lot. it's like when we
Yep.
work in this way, I think Derek and I both have this way of like saying something and the energy is so big. It's like the words can't grasp in, right? But it's like, you'll go back, you'll listen, you'll hear it. Yes.
The energy also. So those of you who are listening, yes, we're talking about some like, we channel information. So when I am talking and all of a sudden it just goes through a stream, it's not me anymore. It's just channeled information coming from the
It's
guys.
you. It's
Yeah,
you.
it's
But it's
me,
the
but it's also,
capital U.
yeah. Yes. So what happens is, though, everybody, you are receiving a vibration. So what's happening energetically is you're getting certain layers peeled away. You're getting things tuned up. There's an agreement that's taken place here that you don't have to understand everything verbally or logically. There is an underlying current that you are receiving from us now with our two people that is unlocking specific codes and will do the work without you having to know logically what's taking place. But as Abigail said, go back and watch this recording and take some notes, because there's a lot of stuff in here that you can ground and really unpack.
I see my friend Alicia's here. Hello, Alicia. Okay, I wanted to ask you one thing, and I'll see if I can grasp it. It was here. So the power of understanding past lives right now. I would say that now, as we're in this dark place, if someone is having a moment where they're like, this feels a little bit, obviously working with you is going to be a great option. But let's just say in a hard moment, someone that's even maybe done a past life regression is like kind of circling with even like a memory or a past life, or like just a feeling. Like, I know I've done tons of work on past lives, and still there's still like, when things come up or we're challenged, it's like, oh, there it is again. Do you have any tips or anything to kind of just share that might help if someone's having a moment as we're coming to these darkest days of the year? Yeah.
The first thing that you want to do is acknowledge the universal cosmic intelligence presence within you. Because you want to remember that when you're trailing off into a dark moment, that this is to a purpose. So always at the first moment, acknowledge the cosmic intelligence within you. What it does is it locks you back into presence. It locks you back into connection to source, God, whatever, what it is you believe. Taking a deep breath also assists in that present moment. It allows you to be within your body and here in the moment, rather than projecting your consciousness out. So acknowledge acknowledge the source presence moving through you, around you. Acknowledge that. Take a deep breath in, a long deep breath in, and hold it, and to exhale that nice and slowly as well.
Let's all do that together.
Yeah, let's do it together. So everybody, let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath on the count of 3. We're going to do for a count of 6. We'll hold for a count of 3. Okay? So ready? Here we go. Hold for 3. Exhale slowly for 6 or more. And I want you internally or out loud to say, I acknowledge the universal cosmic presence within me and around me.
Oh, so juicy. I love it.
See? And then after you do that and you're present, then you can see what you're being taught. So there's 3 really good tips there. Because after you do that, you say, what is it that I'm being reflected? What is it that I'm teaching myself right now? The point is, people spin off and then they give the power away to the thing that's happening, rather than saying, what am I teaching myself right now? In the moment you say, what am I teaching myself right now? You literally snatch back your power. You're like, nope, you're not taking it. It's mine.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so excited to someday come do a regression with you. So tell us how we can find you, work with you, all the things.
You can easily find me on derek-jameson.com, but Instagram is a great way, just that makes it accessible. I post little videos and magical tips and fun things that you can do and how powerful you are. And then there's information on QHHT, which, by the way, is quantum healing hypnosis technique.
Okay.
And so we get to a really deep level state of trance to get information for that. It's a specific type of technique for a past life regression. Not all of them are the same or use the same modality. I chose this one because of what it can do and how it actually unlocks really deep codes within people and how it heals the ancestry line and multidimensionally. So I really love this method. I also do, of course, coaching and Akashic reading and energy healing and clearing too. So there's different things that people can look at on my site should they choose to. I love Derek's regressions. And Tian says,
Yes, you're getting
Derek's
so
regression
much.
is
Yeah,
fire,
people are
the
like,
best.
Derek's suggestions are fire. Tian,
As you can
hello.
see, there are people here that have had regressions.
Yeah, yes. And Alicia and Alicia's the one who recommended the first time that I went, and Dolores Cannon turned me onto that work. Super powerful. Okay, any final things that you'd like to share about, I just really feel like this dark kind of window that we're in as we're closing out this year. Any final thoughts or things that you'd like to share? Yeah.
Just remember that the darkest moments are reflecting the brightest light right on the other side. It is simply meant for you to release resistance to the experience, to move with the flow and ask what you are being taught about yourself throughout it. In the moment you ask for what you are being taught and reflected back, you release the resistance and achieve the power that you were seeking on the other side of it. It is simply waiting for you to release the resistance that you create in your own life so that you can enjoy the abundance of love and power that sits right on the other side of it.
So good, so juicy, like so activating. I'm so grateful. And I just want to say, as we're, going further into this age of Aquarius, it's very easy to fall into isolation and thinking that we're not understood, we don't have community, we can't gather. And I just want to invite us all to really shift that thinking and remember that the new way is the co-creative way.
Yeah.
And you're not alone, you're not isolated, and it really is important to reach out to each other. And I'm so grateful, Derek, that you responded to me and that you were here and able to do this.
This was awesome. Like I felt it the moment you asked, and like it was like this, done. Let's do it.
Well, I knew that, like, when I first popped into a clubhouse room where you were there, I was like, ooh, like, I don't know if you feel this, like, Atlantean, there's some Atlantean,
Oh, sure.
like,
Oh.
and so I felt that with you, and I was, like, very zingy, and I've been wanting to, like, get you on a live, so I'm grateful that you're here.
We are grounding Atlantean frequencies and healing specific timelines of that now. And I've worked with plenty of people in regressions where the Atlantean timeline has come through, that they got to see why they are here right now and how they are healing choices that they had made in that lifetime. And what's fun is that when I'm doing a regression with somebody, if somebody chooses a regression with me, it means that we have connections in other realities. And so that Atlantean information about my own life tends to come through with them. So it's really cool to see information about how I'm connected in with them, what my roles were through their regressions. It's awesome. It is just the coolest stuff. And I'm just so glad we're here. And I'm so glad everyone else is here with us now, because it is not by chance. There was a magnetism, and there's information for everybody here. Yes, Matthew, nice little tridents you got there.
Okay, I have one last question. I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, this is a good question, because what you just brought up really, because I just did a thing on healing karmic relationships. And I'm like, okay, with the karmic, and it's not necessarily that it's always a negative karma or something that needs to be healed. For you in your work, how do you know when someone's coming to you and it's just not a good fit? Or even just like people that you meet where you're like, this is karma that like doesn't need to be resolved or is not, like, do you have any tips for that? Because that's something that I'm processing in my own life of like, like getting into situations where I know that there's some symbiotic thing happening, but where we can fall into old pictures of like saviorism versus, you know what I mean? So do you have anything on that?
Yeah, so the point is that if that's an active vibration that's taking place within our lives, it's just again an invitation that's saying, "Hey, this is still active within you," and it's saying, "Let's clear it. Let's work with it real quick so we can move on because where we are going, we can't take all that cockamamie. We can't take all of that stuff with us. So we want to make sure,
Yeah.
because I've been met with specific situations that are like, okay, Derek, this is still active within you. What do you want to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
it's really taking, it's all reflections because if anything happens, there's an active vibration within us. And it could be very small, but it can still be there. And so we just have to, we literally have to work with the energy we are presented. And the biggest spiritual thing that anyone can ever do is not sit there and go, just read a bunch of stuff. I did that. I was like, oh my God, I have to like catch up, you know? And then, but what happens is the most spiritual things people are actually doing that maybe they don't know that they're doing is they're just showing up to the events that take place in their lives. The event that wants you to see it will show up naturally in your life. You don't have to do anything. You just have to show up and not avoid it. And in those moments, by you allowing yourself to confront it, it's like click, it clears. And what people think are demons coming out them, it's like as soon as you send love to the demon and you're just like, oh, it goes, oh, okay, well, okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you saw me, that I'm part
Yeah.
of this
Right.
experience. Down, okay, good, we're good. And then it
Right.
clicks, it
Stop
goes away.
suppressing me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know you have to go. Thank you so, so much. Is there any other final thoughts you want to share?
I just appreciate everyone. Like we didn't know what to, I didn't know what to expect. And
Mm-hmm.
we've had a lot of people come into this space and shift in and out, which means they were there to receive whatever it is that they needed. If those of you who are came in a little bit later, I highly recommend, based off of what just happened, to go back and download into your field the information. And I'm thankful for you because this reawakened what my need to do these more, and like how magical it is and how open we can get. And that's what we're here for, to help everyone else and to be co-creative. And that information only came forward because everyone that's here created the energy field of the Akashic information that needed to come down. So I love it. I love you guys. This is awesome.
Yay. Love you all. Thank you all for being here. And there will be a playback. The Instagram demons willing.
I know, God.
Okay. Thank you, Derek. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. I love you guys so much for being here. I saw all of you, Tommy and Io, TN, everybody, Alessandra, all y'all.
All y'all, the old crew. Okay.
All right. Bye.